Hello and welcome back to Death for All, and we've still noticed a couple of vassals that have perished in the time that I've been off screen. As you can see, I've actually just recruited a couple more units, and we're going to be heading into Ascar here. Now you may be thinking to myself, okay, why are we here? Why are we here, right? Okay, the main reason why we're here is because I actually wanted to check on the horse prices, because as you can quite clearly tell, these horses right here are relatively cheap, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute. What if I head over to, I was going to say Swadian territory for some reason, but that's wrong. That's not going to work. But no, I was thinking that maybe we would head over to Vlandian territory, because now here's the thing. Vlandian territory usually has a lack of horses, and I was thinking, well, maybe if we want some, want some more money, want to make some more money, then we can go over there and do that. But then I thought, well, actually, wait a minute. Let me see what I can do about getting a good glaive and getting a good bow, because we already have a relatively decent amount of cash. So maybe we can actually get something, because if you take a look here, you can see, look at this. Obviously, this is the best bow in the game, or at least in my opinion. I think the noble bow is absolutely amazing. I've used it multiple times in other playthroughs, most notably in the Land of Seeker playthrough most recently. I loved it there, and because we had extra skills and everything, it just did so much damage. Everyone would just be flying all over the place from the ragdoll impacts, and it was so incredibly funny. Anyway, point is, we're probably going to be trying to get a noble bow a little bit later on, but apart from that, I would love to be able to get a long glaive. A long glaive is going to be so incredibly useful to us to try and live, because obviously, as I've already said, we have an extremely low survival rating at the moment, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see if we can even attempt to survive this. Anyway, I'm actually going to be going into the tournament here. This does provide us with a helmet, and, well, it's kind of good, I guess. I mean, it's kind of good to get some of those things, but of course, we are now going to be given a spear, and as we have seen in the very not too distant past, having a spear in these kinds of mounted cavalry contests in the tournament, it is not so good. Let's just say that. The AI is pretty terrible at using these at the best of times, and they become even worse when it comes to actually utilizing the the speed bonus, I guess you could kind of call it, in the tournaments themselves. I am actually dealing some pretty consistent damage here, surprisingly enough. I wouldn't have expected that in a million years, but yeah, apparently we are. Unfortunately, we are getting stopped quite often here, but it seems like I've actually done a significant amount, just enough, actually, to maybe even be able to get my party members, or shall we say not my party members, but my team members, shall we say, to actually deal damage and land killing blows. And that's exactly what they're doing, because I have done some pretty good damage to most of these opponents, and all we need is my own team to do their own thing and to do a little bit of damage to each of our enemies. Anyway, okay, they've given me a bow this time. I'm a little bit dubious about using one of these. Oh, never mind, we actually hit someone. Okay. So now we can actually go into battle here. Maybe I can deal some damage. Oh no, getting shot by the archer is not a good thing. That is not a good... Oh no, I think I might be dead here. Yes, I am indeed dead. Okay, there's nothing I could do about that. My team literally just got murdered. And you know what the reason was for that? My team got murdered because I got hit by that arrow at the very start. It's really, really weird how that happens sometimes, but in my opinion, that is exactly the reason why we lost, because I got interrupted. Did you see that? My swing got interrupted, and that actually probably would have made all the difference. Surprisingly enough, you may have thought, oh, you know what? Nah, that's not going to make a difference. But actually, I think it might have, because we are preventing an opponent from attacking, right? So basically, we're preventing two enemies from dealing damage. And so that would have meant that 3 or more of our people, including myself, of course, would have been able to deal damage and hopefully eliminate the opponents before we actually suffered too many losses. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because I got shot by that archer, I got staggered, And then in doing so, getting staggered has now made it impossible for me to deal that damage and indeed interrupt the enemy. And in my opinion, that's the reason. I don't know, maybe you disagree, and that's absolutely your prerogative. You can definitely disagree if you like, but in my opinion, I think that was probably what happened there. Anyway, we're going to do this caravan ambush. Hopefully we'll get some decent prisoners from this. And wait a minute, do I just have to continue following? Yeah, I do have to continue following them. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I always make that mistake now for some reason. Not sure why that happens, but any single time I do this caravan ambush mission, I always mistakenly do that, because in previous versions of the game, the bandits or whoever's going to attack them would actually be moving much closer, or would spawn a lot closer, or something like that. I don't know. Something would happen to make it possible for the encounter to happen just that much quicker. And so I'm always thinking to myself, okay, I have to wait here. And no, in fact, I do not have to wait. I literally just have to follow, and then it will eventually happen, of course. Anyway, the enemy has some amazing amounts of cavalry here, so I'm probably just going to switch to my spear. This is not actually going to work out too well for us, I don't think. Or maybe it will, I don't know. I mean, we're actually doing some pretty decent damage with our polearm so far. I'm actually really surprised about that, to be honest. I knocked that guy off his mount. How did that happen? I don't think he died, right? No, I don't think he was killed or anything, but that was actually not bad. I've got to remember, actually, that we are taking full damage from a variety of places right now, so definitely something to be a bit aware of, because if I do end up dying in this battle, and I'm talking about actual dying here, because there is a very high chance that that will happen, then I'm out of luck, because I do not have a companion that can take over the clan. As far as I'm aware, a companion that you do welcome into your clan is actually going to be able to do that. But I've not actually had experience with any character of mine actually dying, like really dying. So that is gonna be a new experience, shall we say. And if it does happen, then we're gonna do it again. All right, we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna try to get back to where I was before, and I will show any of the trials and tribulations that we may go through. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna obviously restart and then show you all the smoothness that will happen. I'm gonna show you absolutely everything that might happen if indeed there is a bump in the road, so to speak. Because in my opinion, that's I don't know, I feel like that's the flavor of a journey, you know what I mean? Like, it's not only the good parts, but it's also the bad parts. I feel like all of that needs to be shown. So if I do get myself eliminated, and indeed this character dies, I will create another one, and then I'll try to get back to where I was before, and you'll see every single, shall we say, difficult situation. that's putting it in a little bit of an understatement right there, but you'll see every single thing that we go up against that has a potential to cause me to die. So you won't see things like doing regular tasks. You won't see things like tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, sure, once we're back to a suitable level of money and army size and so on and so forth, then sure, then you'll start seeing tournaments again. But at the very start, you probably won't, because I don't want to spam you with the same aspects, you know what I mean? So I just want to try to keep things moving as best as I can, and obviously you want to see what happens if we actually do come up against some kind of death situation. And I mean, that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point of the series. Anyway, let me see if I can actually do some damage with my bow just to this last opponent here. It's not looking that likely right now. Yeah, this bow is... I mean, the bow isn't... That's the thing. The bow isn't actually bad. I just have really, really low bow skill at the moment. I mean, the bow is pretty awful, but it's not the worst that you could have, that's for sure. And I have actually checked for bows in the towns that I've passed by so far, and most of them are actually not eligible for me. Most of them are either way too expensive, or they do not allow you to use them on a horse. And in which case, obviously, that's not really going to work out too well. So I'm using a hunting bow at the moment. As you can see, it's got 85 accuracy, which is not even entirely bad. But the one bow that I found that I could actually use with my skill at the moment was, I think it was like 2 additional accuracy or something like that. So yeah, it's probably not going to be that useful for us to buy a new bow right now. But maybe we should just try to get our skill up as much as we can, basically. And then we'll just see what happens after that. But otherwise, we're basically just going to be trying to do as many tasks as possible. Let me see. Train troops for this guy. Needs help with brigands. Needing help with brigands could actually be a pretty useful thing to do. I do need to train some more troops, as you can see. So that might actually make sense. So we'll go ahead and do that. Even though, to be fair, I'm not sure if it's really worth it. I don't know. I mean, we can obviously go in against these bandits. I'm actually kind of surprised that they've changed the mechanics surrounding the brigand quest. Because I don't know whether you realize this. Maybe you haven't, you know, played Bannerlord before, or maybe you haven't seen any of my series before. But in which case, what would used to happen is when you took a brigand quest, you would have brigands spawn en masse. So there would be a lot of enemies to fight, a lot of potential targets, and then you would literally have them stand really close by to you, and they would just stand there. They would just stand there and they would allow you to attack them, and you wouldn't have to chase them across the entirety of the map to actually make them... Yes, to actually make them eligible for the quest. And you can see here exactly what just happened. Did you see that? Yeah, they literally ran far enough so that they were out of the vicinity of the village. Yes. Yes, that is very, very irritating, I've got to say. I might not even be able to do this thing just purely for the fact that these bandits are making it very difficult. I don't know. I'm not sure if we're even going to be able to do it, but whatever the case, yeah, I guess I'm just going to wait here for some time. Let's just have a look and see whether any enemies even appear, because obviously I'm losing money right now. It's not a huge amount of money, but it is money nevertheless that I could be putting towards travel expenses, because of course I am going to be trying to head onward as much as I can. Garrios is actually offering us the ability to become a mercenary. Now, here's the thing with that. I would love to be able to actually become a mercenary to begin with. I think that would actually be a pretty fantastic idea. However, oh no, they're not actually at war against the Azurai. Okay. Alright, okay, fine. I think we might actually go ahead and do this. 180 influence per influence point. Sure, okay. I will become a mercenary with the Western Empire. Let's see what happens with that. I am a little bit worried about this, all things considered. I'm actually needing to slaughter animals now, which is not exactly great. So we're just going to pick up some grain here, just because it's not really going to give us that much after all, but... yeah, actually, is the hideout close enough? Oh, the hideout is actually close enough. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do, someone very, very kindly told me in the comments that I will be able to head into the hideout, and that actually gives you credit for the eliminating bandits task, which I didn't know about. I thought that it didn't do that. But apparently they changed it, or apparently they made it more eligible for that, so that's really, really nice. Otherwise, I'm actually not sure what to go for here. I'm kind of thinking I will go for one-handed, because in the end, are we going to use a one-handed? Probably not, right? Nah, probably not. Okay, so probably not. So we'll go for some athletics, because athletics is obviously going to be pretty useful. I'm going to leave the attribute point at the moment, because right now it's not actually that important that we get that small attribute point increase. But I will be thinking about putting it probably in intelligence, because I do want to get our own performance in medicine skill to be pretty amazing. So now, here's the thing, okay? I did not forget to actually equip my one-handed, but I have such a low skill in one-handed. I'm just thinking to myself, is it actually even worth me doing that? That's the point. Is it actually worth it? I don't know. That's the point. I could basically instead just do my bow and just try to get some good skill with that. I could also tell my units literally just to charge in. You know, I could tell them to just go in and eliminate as many enemies as they can. and that might actually be a good way to go about things. But obviously I've got athletic skill now spec'd into, which is obviously pretty good. Hopefully that's going to enable me to run away just that much easier, because obviously last time I just got absolutely murdered because I didn't have any athletic skill to run away with. Nice headshot. Very nice indeed. Can I get some more of that, please? Yes, I can. Great. Alright, wait a minute. I've got to be careful here. Got to make sure that I'm not getting ambushed, because obviously having a polearm, it does make things a bit difficult in close quarters combat, especially if you're up against 2 enemies at once. But it seems like my own forces are actually doing a relatively good job at clearing out the opponent. Ah, hello there. Ah, there's my forces. I actually heard a scream or a shout come over from the right side, and I was like, oh no, who's that? I thought that I was being attacked there for a real quick second, but no. Alright, so we're very, very happy here, because I can just literally tell my forces just to charge straight on in here. And I will probably try to use my spear. I'll try to use my spear. I don't fight duels with brigands, sir. And hopefully don't kill me, please. Hopefully don't kill me. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, he actually eliminated one of my people, but that's absolutely fine. We actually got them as well. That's great. And obviously bandit hideouts are actually really, really good for rewards. Obviously, if you have the quest, if you have the eliminate the bandit hideout quest, you're going to be having a much better time of things. But look at this amazing piece of armor that we can sell for a really significant amount. So that's going to be super nice. And we also get a new horse here as well. A frankly very surprising horse to find here, but it is indeed a war mount, and you can see, look how much better this is. I mean, it's obviously a little bit slower, but it has a lot more maneuverability, it has a lot more charge damage, and charge damage in the new version of Bannerlord is so much better than it used to be. I don't even know, because last time when I was trying to use charge damage to actually eliminate anyone, it was so incredibly frustrating. It really was. It only did about 1 damage, 2 damage at most. Maybe 3. But it's much, much better now. So I'm very, very pleased about that. Anyway, I will hopefully be able to go over to, what is it now? Desert Bandit territory. That's it. Desert Bandit territory in just a second, because I would like to be able, if possible, I'm going to go for knocking point here. I personally prefer that, I think. But yeah, what I would like to do is I would like to level up these troops, but I'm actually wondering, I have 43 days left. Okay, so that's a pretty significant amount of time. And we are delivering a herd at the moment. Oh yeah, actually, oh no, we've actually eaten some of the hogs. Oh dear. 12 hogs. Oh, they don't allow you to just deliver 5 anymore? Okay, that's a little bit irritating in my opinion. I feel like that they should have just left it the way it was before, to be honest, but people were apparently no fun. No fun is allowed, but I'm just kidding, obviously. Oh, am I? Yes. Anyway, the point is, what we need to do now is we need to find a village that sells hogs. I'm actually not entirely sure if there is one in Azerai territory. Kind of surprising that I actually got this task from Azerai territory. They are losing like no one's business. Look at this. They've just lost 2 of their towns very, very quickly. Okay, so let me see. Okay, there's one over there. Zestea. Alright, I guess I will be going over to that village then, and we will attempt to buy some hogs. And this is exactly the reason why, in my opinion, the developers should have just left the resolution to this quest, because here's the thing. How it used to be, if you didn't know, is in previous versions, you were able to take these Deliver the Herd quests, and you could theoretically sell half of the herd, right? You could sell half of the herd, and then you could deliver the herd, and then they would basically be like, oh, well, I'm very upset with you, but please take all your money that you have earned with doing this task in a subpar manner. And that's exactly what would happen. So in other words, they would give you full price for delivering half the goods, and you would be able to sell the other half to a merchant. And so, in other words, you'd gain basically double the amount of cash. Basically double the amount of cash, kind of. You know what I mean? You basically just get more benefit for doing, well, not much. You just sell half, and then you're all good, right? So generally, that is what you could do in previous versions. However, they have now changed it so that you can no longer sell half and then you give half to the end person, whoever the end person is. And in my opinion, that's actually kind of sad, because it does limit the amount of player choice that one has. And in my opinion, I feel like it would be a lot easier if they would have just left it alone and just made it so that you get half the reward. You know what I mean? Just leave it like that. In my opinion, that would have been a much better solution, because then people know, oh, I shouldn't be selling all of this. I should be keeping this around, and I should try to, complete the task without being, unscrupulous or something like that. Oh, and look at this. Look at what has just happened now. Unkid has now declared war against the Western Empire, and I can now no longer do these tasks. Yeah. Who called it? Who called it in the comments? Who called it? I'm going to assume someone did. Someone absolutely called this. Right. Okay, well, that is very frustrating, actually. Okay, a Cataphract Lance is actually up for sale here. Well, up for grabs here, shall we say. And that's not a terribly bad weapon. I think, whoa, it's actually a really good weapon. Look at that, 246 weapon length. But it is going to require me not to use a shield. But do I care about that too much? Not sure. Probably not. But yes, what a wonderful turn of events, right? Yes, that's such a classic thing to happen to me as well, because I have two tasks that I'm basically just about to complete, because we were on the way there. We were actually, I think, 3 out of 5 of the borrowed troops I had actually leveled up, and borrowed troop quest is really good for its rewards. And lo and behold, look what happened. Yeah, well, we are leveling up, which is actually quite nice. But as I say, I'm not entirely sure why the developers actually changed how the Deliver the Herd quest works, because they could have just changed the reward, you know what I mean? That would have made much more sense, because in these kinds of cases, I wouldn't have had to go and buy some additional hogs if they just allowed me to complete it for half the reward. I would have been happy with that, to be honest. That would have been completely fine. I would have gotten relation with both NPCs, albeit less relation, probably. If it were me, I would just make it so that there would be less relation gain in comparison to making us lose relation and so on and so forth. But yeah, as I said before, it feels like an anti-fun kind of change. But maybe they'll change it back. I don't know. Maybe they'll change it back, and maybe they'll just revise how that particular task works. Because for me personally, as I say, I think you should have as many options as possible to deal with a situation as you like. I don't think that there should be a limit on that, if possible. Obviously, there has to be some limit, but I feel like giving us only 2 options. One is not doing the quest, or the other is saying that I'm going to take the herd for myself. I mean, that basically just gives you a negative overall experience of the task, and then you're going to think to yourself, yeah, I'm not going to take that task any further ever again. And that's how it makes me feel, because it makes me feel, oh yeah, I shouldn't be taking this Deliver the Herd quest, because I remember last time it was a negative experience, and it kind of just makes me think, why should I bother? That's kind of the thing that it makes me think right there. So that's really, really sad in my opinion, because I actually really like the Deliver the Herd quests. But I guess I just had to be a little bit more careful, right? I mean, I'm sure someone's going to say that, just had to be a little bit more careful with my food supplies and make sure that the hogs did not get consumed as food. And then everything would have been fine. And yeah, sure, absolutely. But again, I still feel like in an RPG sense, I feel like it would have been pretty cool to have different options for task results or task completion. Because as we know, from other RPGs, and I'm talking about things like, I don't know, Oblivion or Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas especially, there are situations where you can do really crazy things and you wouldn't expect it to have a dramatic impact, but it does, because the developers actually thought of that, and they thought, hey, you know what would be fun here? What would be a fun resolution for this particular situation that the player's in? I remember very specifically the... let me see if I can remember the name of the organization. Are they the White Glove Society? I'm thinking the White Glove Society. If I'm right about that, let me know. But I think it is the White Glove Society. Anyway, basically they are a... an organization, shall we say. I'm not going to spoil anything in case you haven't played New Vegas, but if you haven't played New Vegas, you really should. I'm telling you now, it's very good. I love it. But yes, anyway, point is, they run a casino on the New Vegas Strip, and they are kind of interesting. Let's just say that. As I say, I'm not providing any spoilers because here's the thing. Even though it's a game that has literally been out for over 10 years, there are always people that may not have played it, right? So I'm just going to say, if you haven't played it, I'd highly recommend it. It is so incredibly cool. Anyway, as I said, there are multiple ways to actually fix a bunch of quests in regards to... This is just one example, of course, in regards to the White Glove Society. And I think that... in general, Bannerlord should follow suit in that way, you know, because even though these tasks are not particularly, you know, they're not particularly complicated, you know, they're just basically like, oh, okay, you know, go over there and do this, go over there and do that, and, you know, all that stuff. So, in other words, just eliminate these bandits or deliver this item to this other place and all that stuff. And that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with, you know, the content of a particular task. But the resolution of it and the option to change how you approach that particular issue, that, in my opinion, could be expanded upon. And in my opinion, I think that sounds like so much fun, you know. Having a different slant on things would definitely make things much more interactive, much more dynamic, and it would basically be like, oh, wow, I had no idea that that could actually happen, you know what I mean? I mean, of course, I'm not saying that they should, you know, go all out with the RPG mechanics. I'm not saying they should go and, you know, create the most complex RPG system in the world. Of course not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that removing options for tasks, I don't know. I don't think that's the right way to go personally, but I'm not them, you know, I'm not them. So I'm not really at liberty to, you know, say that they should do this or should do that, but I'm just giving my opinion about how I feel about that change, and that's it. Because I always think that it's super cool to have those situations. I don't know about you. I'm getting shot. I might actually end up dying here. I've got to be very careful. I'm not sure if I can even die in a bandit hideout. I think I can probably die in a bandit hideout attack, right? I think I probably can. So I should be very careful here. Gonna get out my bow, even though this is very risky. Extremely risky, in actual fact. Okay, there's an enemy over there. Do you think I can hit him from here with my hunting bow? Not in a million years, right? Oh, I think I might have actually been able to hit him, but yeah, I kind of discounted myself before I even began, really, so that didn't really help me. But yeah, as you can see, he was actually winding up for an attack there. I was a bit worried. Okay, I am even more worried about even attacking the bandit leader at this point, because he's gonna go for me, you know, he's gonna go for me. But I will try to just send my forces in here and we'll see what happens. But I actually have some pretty decent Azerite infantry here. And the main reason, you see, why I became a mercenary, I can always leave, by the way. I can always leave the mercenary life if we want to, but the main reason why I did this is because I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna be training these troops anyway, right? And if I'm training these troops, then inevitably I'm going to be going into battles, right? And so if I'm going to be going into battles, I'm going to earn influence. And me earning influence is just another way for us to earn money. And so that was the main reason why I actually wanted to do that. Anyway, my forces are not using thrown weapons. Okay, they are now. They're just going to absolutely murder the opponent. Yeah. These guys literally should have just gone into melee, to be honest, because my infantry having thrown weapons at this range, ooh, that is just, that's a death sentence right there. That really is. Anyway, I'd love to find a manual laborer quest, all things considered. I think that would be amazing. But look at this wonderful gear that we actually get. This is amazing gear right now. And this ranger bow is actually not bad. As you can see, it's got 55 damage instead of 45. But you can see apart from that, it's not that good. and I cannot use it on a horse, which is, of course, the other thing that is a bit of a downside there. But whatever the case, this shield is absolutely amazing, and I will hopefully be able to use this. There we go. Obviously, this shield right here, the wooden adaga, is, well, just terrible. It's really, really bad, and it basically doesn't provide me any protection whatsoever, and that's maybe the main reason why we were having some issues actually protecting ourselves against arrows, and why I was taking so much damage in that particular hideout. But I'm very pleased that we were able to complete that quest, and now we can actually head on to Sargot, and maybe we can indeed find that manual laborer task as well, because that's definitely something that I'd love to do. I'm not going to escort the merchant caravan. I'm also not going to do another tournament here, because there is a manual laborer quest at this village, or this one. Either one, please. Either one. Okay, I'd love to be able to do damage here if at all possible. Can we... see, now the problem is... Yeah, we're with this guy. We're with this guy. Oh, well, I can't really do much about that, unfortunately. I'd love to have just not gone in with this guy, but oh well, never mind. I mean, it's all positive, I suppose, but let's just have a look and see whether there is a task here. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, there might be one over here. Instead, manual laborer tasks are usually in places that have clay and ore of some kind. So usually places that, you know, you're gonna need people. Yeah, for example, this. Yes, this is absolutely perfect. Okay, hello there, sir. I hear you need some assistance. Okay, he needs 11. Okay, well, we easily have enough. So let's have a look. Okay, what am I going to be able to do here? Well, I'm going to be giving the nomad bandits, the mounted pillagers, the mounted ransackers, the bushwhackers, and I guess I will give the others as well, as many as I can actually. And let's see, can I still... Yes, I can. Is this grayed out actually? No? No, we can give all of these. Yep, 4,500. Absolutely perfect. That's wonderful. That is very, very good. And now I have completely offloaded, basically, all of my prisoners. And look at... What? How do I have so much of this? How do I have so many different perks? Okay, I have no idea what actually happened. Okay, crazy. That is real nice. Okay, so let's have a look here. Yep, combat tips is always what I will take. And hello. Okay, it seems like they've actually changed self-promoter. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, wait a minute. If you've seen my previous series where we were becoming a mercenary, which one was it again? It's not the Forbury one, but the one before that. I can't remember which one that was, but whatever the case, self-promoter was a little bit different in a previous version because they've actually reworked the perks, and I have to applaud them for this because reworking perks is definitely something that I have wanted for a long time. So very, very much loving that. Now here's the thing. Self-promoter used to give you +5 influence for winning a tournament. And now if you win a tournament, of course, as a mercenary, you gain +5 influence, and what does that do? It turns it into wages. Yes, it turns it into wages for you, and then as a result, you're going to be, well, making additional money. So I'm going to assume that they didn't like that interaction. Not sure why, personally, because I think that's actually a pretty cool interaction, to be honest. But they obviously didn't like that, so they changed it so that you gain 3 renown when a tournament is won instead. Okay, that's... I'm not sure if I agree on that. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, because if you're playing on console or if you don't have mods installed that change the amount of renown that tournaments give, I currently don't, then tournaments are a really, really good way, if you have self-promoter at least, to gain you some quick renown. And gaining 6 renown every single time you go into a tournament, or whenever you win one, that is, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really, really good. But I'm actually going to be taking Virile here. This is something that I never usually take, but I will be taking this purely for the fact that we need to have as many children as possible. So that's what we're going to take this time around. +5 travel speed on deserts and dunes. That might actually be good. Or -50% travel speed penalty. Is composed of 75% or more infantry units. Yes, I'm not entirely sure. I think that is actually me. So I will probably take Forestkin, considering we are currently in Botanian territory, and we can actually we can actually respec nowadays. So that's actually pretty cool, being able to, you know, place your perks in other things. Anyway, plus 20% carry capacity. I don't really care about this that much. So I will just go for nomadic traditions, even though we don't have a huge amount of cavalry at the moment. Plus 25% chance of dismounting enemy cavalry with a heavy hit. That sounds pretty good. Yes, I will be taking that one, because 30% chance of knocking enemies back with thrust attacks made by polearms. Yeah, that's not going to be something that I'm going to be using anytime soon, because thrusting is a little bit lower on my list than slashing. So that's what we're going to do. And otherwise, I guess I'm just going to go for some more athletics. I should probably get some vigor as well. We're just going to go for intelligence. I know. It's probably not the best idea for me to go for that, but that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so wait a minute. Is this a manual laborer task? No, it's... I was hopeful that it would be a manual laborer task, to be honest. Because if it was, then I knew exactly what I was going to do next. I was going to go all the way over to Sargot, which is just over here. You know, it's just a stone's throw away. And I was basically just going to go, okay, we're going to go and do the escort caravan mission. And then we're going to gain so many prisoners and so much loot and so much experience that we're just going to have a wonderful time. And then we can literally just go and be like, yeah, hello, pay up, manual laborer quest giver person. Yes, that would have been absolutely wonderful. Anyway, we're just going to be selling all of this, I believe. There's nothing much more for me to do here. I will sell the cataphract lance as well. And there you go. We're going to gain another 5,000. I will keep my iron scimitar just in case. And otherwise, I think we might as well go ahead and do that escort merchant caravan quest. However, the problem with doing this, and now this is obviously a pretty big deal nowadays, is that I can die very easily, okay? I can die very easily. I don't have any companions. Oh, hello. There is a companion here. 440 only. You're very cheap, sir. Alright, he actually is supposed to be a medic. Well, how much does he have? He has 71 in medicine. Okay, so he's actually much better than me. Yeah, he is actually much better than me, which makes me feel sad now, because I've actually spec'd into medicine for no reason. Didn't think I was going to come across a surgeon that quickly, but okay, I guess we will do that. And then we will go ahead and just do the escort merchant caravan quest. This guy could potentially just die almost immediately as well, by the way. That is a very real possibility at this point. However, I'm thinking, you know what? Shall we buy some armor for him so that he can actually survive a little bit better? I think that's probably a good idea. So let's buy him some cheap-ish gear. Nothing too amazing, but nothing too bad either. Don't really want to buy him gloves that are worth 2,000. That's a bit too much, in my opinion. So we're just going to leave it like that. I really wish I had the best auto-equip mod. I think it probably has been updated. It probably has been updated, but I just haven't done anything with that just yet. So, yeah, we might add it at some point in the future. Anyway, apart from here, do we want... We want this one, don't we? Yeah, we want something like that. And he's using a pretty terrible sword, but I'm not sure whether I should really get him anything else. Is he a good riding skill person? Let's have a look. Oh, he's actually really good at polearms, and he is good at riding. Well, that kind of makes sense, considering he's a Vlandian, right? I think he is a Vlandian, at least. Anyway... I think we're probably going to go for Light Lance here. Light Lance is relatively simple to use. And we will buy him... Actually, do I need to buy him a horse? Don't think I need to buy him a horse. I don't need to buy him a saddle either. So we can just give him one of these. There we go. Alright, absolutely perfect. Okay, so now here's the thing. I should have just bought those horses, shouldn't I? Yeah. I should have just bought those horses. Because I could have come over here and then literally just sold these. I mean, look at the Cantarian Charger. I mean, obviously it's a war mount, obviously, right? It is a war mount, but I can sell these for, actually, you know what? Never mind. It's not even good, all right? It's not even good, the amount of money that we'd get for these. So, yeah, nothing to worry about. I can just go ahead and leave here. And actually, you know what? We need some grain, because I'm apparently eating some hogs. Oh yeah, well, we might as well eat the hogs, to be honest, nowadays, because, you know, I don't have the hog quest anymore. That's always hilarious, isn't it? Anyway, ooh, okay, this is actually gonna be kind of difficult. Now, technically, if I wanted to avoid death at all costs, I could theoretically just go and auto-resolve every single fight, if I wanted to do that. You know, I could do that, you know? That would definitely be a way to avoid dying. However... that kind of eliminates a lot of the challenge and a lot of the fun that we could potentially be having. So, That's the reason why I will probably not be auto-resolving against fights like this. Not unless it's like a tedious fight or something like that, because as it stands, I don't really want to have, you know, me going into battles against, like, you know, 2 guys or whatever. That doesn't really make much sense. Also, why did these guys just charge in here? Are these mine? No, these are not mine. Yes, as you can see, the caravan's units actually just charged. Yes, that's not particularly good. Okay, well, my plan has been completely thrown off as well, by the way. I realized that I did not go to Kuzate territory like I said I was going to, because we just got distracted. We needed to go over to Kuyaz for the quest. I was attempting to do the quest, and then all of a sudden, you know, the Western Empire offered me mercenary ship, and then I was like, okay, I guess I will do that. And then they declared war. The Azerai obviously declared war, and then things happened, and yes. Long story short, we got on a huge detour. And, well, I guess that's not bad, right? I guess that's not bad. I think that's fine, but we are now in a situation where we're maybe not doing as well as we could be. Although, I am actually knocking a bunch of these people off their mount and actually killing them, surprisingly enough. I wouldn't have expected that in a million years, but yes, we apparently are pretty good with this spear, amazingly. I never would have imagined that, actually. Wow, okay, I'm doing some good damage. I'm actually very confused right now. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's going on? Because usually I'm not this good with a thrusting polearm. I don't know, maybe it's just something that comes naturally to me right now. And I'm gonna now talk about it for 1 minute, saying how amazing I am at this, and then I'm gonna get killed, and then it's gonna be like, oh, that happened. Yeah. But no, we're actually fine. We're actually doing alright, and I'm knocking people off their mount. That's very good. And I'm pretty happy with this, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, so wait a minute. Oh, okay, apparently I'm not allowed to get any more kills. Yes. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah, you see what I mean? As soon as I say that I'm doing okay with this particular weapon type, and then all of a sudden, now I'm just completely useless. Yeah, oh well, I guess I should switch it up a little bit, do some damage with my bow, or do negative damage with my bow, because that's exactly what it is. That's what's really funny about using something that you're not particularly proficient with. It's like when you're doing negative damage, and you're basically helping the opponent at that point, because if you're not doing any damage at all, even if you're not interrupting them from attacking or distracting them or something, then you're basically not contributing to the battle at all, and it literally contributes in negative damage. So that's pretty terrible. Anyway, let me see if I can actually hit this guy from a moving direction. Oh my, okay, hello. That was I think that was luck. Okay, I think that was luck. I'm not going to take credit for that, even though I would like to. Okay, I would love to take credit for that, but that's not going to work. Anyway, 4.1 renown, not too bad. Bear in mind, we are, again, still a mercenary, so this is actually going to provide us with some pretty decent rewards. And we're going to get some decent amounts of horses. Nice. Okay, good amount of horses. We might even get some good other gear as well. So I'm going to actually just have a quick look through this. Yeah, some of this stuff is not actually that good, unfortunately, but it's all good for selling, that is. It's all good for selling. Okay, so these guys have now taken an absolute battering. I'm very much hoping that the raiders will not continue to attack us, but I think that's, that's wishful thinking, shall we say. Anyway, I'm going to go for one more point in polearms. I will be taking another focus point in riding after that, just so we can get 4 focus points in every single category there, every single combat category that we're currently focusing on. And I think I should probably sell my stuff, right? I should probably sell my stuff just to make sure that we're keeping as light as we can. Maybe we should buy some stuff as well. Let's actually sell the hogs. Spice I can sell here for 370. Thamaskene steel, well, I'm not going to be doing any smithing, so that's not too bad. And this is actually kind of expensive. Yeah, this is actually kind of expensive. Not a terribly big fan of that. Okay. Are we having a herd problem right now? No, we're not having a herd problem right now. Let's just take a quick look. Oh, hello. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, so I could have made 100 gold per one horse if I'd come over here and sold these. I don't think that's particularly worth it, is it? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's okay. Anyway, they're going to Charas now. Okay. That's a bit of a weird direction to take. I would have expected them to actually go to Charas first, because that's the closest, right? But maybe they have somewhere else to go after that. I mean, let's actually just take a quick look. Yeah, they need to visit 3 different settlements. So I'm going to assume... Okay, where do you think they're going to go? Where do you think they're going to go? I'm going to assume that they're going to go... let's see now. I think they'll go to Galend. I think they'll go to Galend after this. I think it seems like a pretty simple task for them. And we're going to go straight on in against the raiders once again. I didn't take any damage that time, which I gotta say is welcome. That is a very welcome change, because usually I take damage almost every time going into battle against these guys. But yeah, I was actually lucky enough not to take any damage. And yeah, I should probably get stuck in here, to be honest. Okay, this is a bit problematic, possibly. Yeah, okay. Didn't go too well, but at least we didn't take any damage. That's the only thing that I can really be thankful for right here. Because if we took damage, yeah, you can best bet that would be not so good. Because sometimes, obviously, if you're someone that's seen my series before, then you may know, or may not know, that generally what would happen in this situation is sometimes there are 2 raider parties that decide to attack you in the same exact journey of the trip. And so that can actually make a significant difference to your chances of success, and actually makes it very likely that you might indeed even fail, because of course this is a pretty, in my opinion at least, this is a pretty early task to do, right? You know, it's a pretty early task. It's always good to do, don't get me wrong, because you actually do have, you know, as I say, manual labor quests and so on and so forth to do. And they do give you a lot of prisoners, they give you a lot of loot and everything, all across the board pretty much. And that's always great. However, if you take damage, that's where things start to get very difficult. And you might have some issues with that. But thankfully, it doesn't seem like that's happening this time. I don't think so. We're getting some rebellion going on there. Getting another lord going down as well. I'm actually really interested to see... Ah, yeah, Ortisia was the other option. Alright, well, for those of you that said Ortisia, congratulations. There's nothing to win right now, but you just have the satisfaction of knowing that you were right. Indeed. Anyway, the point is... yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what is going to happen later down the line when we actually have... What, they're traveling to Kuyas? Oh, because Ortisia was... Oh, Ortisia is now under siege. Okay, this is going to be... oh, this is going to be interesting. This is not going to go well. Oh my. Oh dear. Okay, yes. This is basically a death bottleneck right here. If you're up against someone that is actually faster than you in regards to their travel speed. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. Okay, so they actually did it. And now we can move on. Okay, fantastic. So it was 2,400. Actually, not even entirely bad. That was pretty good. And we also gained a significant amount of loot. Okay, so we can also have a look at Mr. Krotor's army here. I've got yes, and this is also a thing. I've got to be very careful about going into sieges now as well. How many people? There's only 50 people here. Are you serious? Join the continuing siege. Why do I not see these guys? Do I need to scan them with the Pokedex to be able to see their information or something like that? Because I'm already, I mean, I'm technically a part of this whole thing, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be uncovering them. Okay, there we go. Now they've become uncovered. Okay, interesting. Okay, so yeah, we can basically just go straight on in here. Technically, this is kind of useless, but it might actually be an idea, right? It might actually be an idea to do this. Maybe we'll get some decent rewards for it or something like that. Hopefully, we can just cross our fingers and hope that that's the case. Otherwise, oh look, they've actually changed something. They actually show you where the enemy siege is if you hold Alt. I'm actually not entirely sure whether they showed you that before. I've never held Alt in an offensive siege because it just never seems to do much. So it's pretty cool that they show you what kind of siege they have available now. I wonder whether that's a new change. I don't know if it is or not. But yeah, I guess it's about time that we get up there, isn't it? Ooh, did you see that? I actually jumped onto the ladder and my character literally just adapted to that. I actually wonder whether they have improved the getting onto the ladders thing, you know, because it seemed like I don't know, it seemed like the character just completely gripped on it very, I don't even know what to really call it, adaptively, I guess? It seemed, yeah, I don't know, it seemed pretty adaptable to me. And that's definitely a great improvement in my opinion, because as time has gone on, it's been actually pretty difficult to get onto the ladders. Not in Bannerlord specifically, but obviously in Warband it was very difficult to get onto the ladders. But maybe they've actually made it better now, so that's really, really cool. Can I actually win a battle against this guy? Can I win an archery duel against an enemy archer who appears to be a master? Oh, never mind, he's dead. Alright. Oh, what a classic, eh? Anyway, I think the AI is actually having some big problems moving forwards. I'm very much hoping that people are going to listen to me and they're just going to charge straight forward. Ah, there we go. They are actually charging now. Because I don't know whether you noticed that, but when we climbed up the ladder, a bunch of our people were just standing there, not doing anything. And I've witnessed this happen in the past in one of my previous series. Most notably, the Land of Seeker series had this issue where my forces would get into the battlements and they'd basically just stand there. And the enemy would do the same thing. And it's really weird because they're basically standing there because they're waiting for their allies to secure various places in and around the castle or town. And in them doing so, they're basically killing themselves because they're literally just, well, not moving forward and they're getting shot over and over again. And that really doesn't help matters that much, right? Yeah, it really doesn't help at all. So that is the kind of thing that can happen if the AI is left to its own devices. So hopefully that's not going to be happening that much longer in the future. But otherwise, I guess we're just going to rescue these guys because it's kind of decent to get some units, I guess. And otherwise, we're just going to move on. And, ooh, yes. Oh, now this is nice, isn't it? It does a lot of charge damage. All right, yeah, I'm for it. Thank you very much. I will definitely be using this. And I'll give my surgeon friend the new horse, the other new horse that I gained. And Guarantor Castle has now been taken. Obviously, this is not something I'm going to be doing anything with, but it's nice nevertheless. Anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.